We were looking for a new challenge, something that was going to take us into a really rugged landscape.
We wanted an adventure off the beaten track, something that on fully loaded bikes would really test us.
We talked vaguely about doing an Iceland trip.
We had some limits on the trip and time was one of them, and we had to make a call as to whether we sailed and took our own bikes or whether we flew and hired bikes while we were out there.
We had the ideal bikes for the trip, but the more we looked into the ferry, the more the time became an issue.
Paul had his KTM 950 Adventure, Darren and I, we had our 640, so we were really looking forward to taking those bikes out there.
We've been checking out on transport to Iceland with the bikes. It doesn't seem to be as easy as we hoped.
We'd love to have taken our own bikes, but given the sailing was 2 days there and 2 days back, it was a no-brainer. We had to fly and hire bikes.
So our next task was to organise the rentals. We found Biking Viking on the web. We found out they had some bikes available, so we placed our order.
A colleague at work told me about this Icelandic governmental page that tells us everything about the roads, and it's called Vegagerðin, and I almost lived there for a few weeks just to get to know it and get to know the Icelandic language.
I had a quick look on Google for flights to Iceland and come up with Icelandair. Their website is very easy to use and their flights are sorted.
We knew Iceland was going to be expensive and we didn't want to blow the budget on the accommodation, so luckily we found the Salvation Army guest house, really good value for money.
History has shown that the winter time is not finished until June sometime, maybe July.
So the trip was set, we were ready to go. The only question we had was, would the roads be open when we got there? I mean, apart from that, what could go wrong?
Hundreds of people have been evacuated from their homes in the southwest of Iceland because of fears of a volcanic eruption.
Just a few minutes ago, British airspace was closed down.
As soon as the news broke about the eruption, our first thoughts were with the islanders and their families.
This volcano in Iceland has been belching for weeks, but now the wind has brought the dust cloud down over Britain and northern Europe.
When the volcano erupted last month, it was the first time since 1821, and the violent underground activity lasted more than a week. Evacuated residents will be hoping this force of nature doesn't last quite as long.
The volcano is spitting fire for us. Part of me hopes this will last until we get there, and one part of me hopes that it will stop so that we actually can get there.
It was a great relief when the eruption subsided. Life in Iceland resumed some kind of normality and airlines around the globe began to fly in and out of Europe. Our day of departure arrived. We were packed, primed and ready for the ride. The next stage was the flight out. As the airplane was boarding, Paul was in the air, somewhere over the Atlantic, flying into Iceland from Oslo. We'd arranged to meet outside the arrivals hall and travel by bus into Reykjavik together. We had not seen Paul since we had travelled around Norway together almost a year ago. Iceland is a short flight away, and in less than 3 hours we'd be landing just below the Arctic Circle, some 1100 miles away. This will be our second trip up to latitude 66 degrees and the land of the midnight sun.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Iceland. The local time is 20 minutes past 3. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the airplane has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt signs have been turned off. Please remember to take all your carry-on items and leave the airplane.
We grabbed the bags, our very own Viking, and headed for the bus into Reykjavik, some 40 minutes away. checked in, threw our bags in the room and headed for a beer and something to eat. We're all looking forward to the journey tomorrow and our meet up with the Biking Vikings.